It's good to be here. This month we shall be focusing on heritage and family, and you can, if you will, you can wear your African attire this month. Just a little dab or do you. I'm going to try to get through this with the time allotted. Daniel, the 3rd chapter. Really, it's the entire 3rd chapter, but I can't read all that. And the New Century Version translation is the one I selected for today, so I'm going to jump around in some verses. So just keep your Bible open. Nebuchadnezzar became very angry and called for Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. When they were brought to the king, Nebuchadnezzar said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, is it true that you do not serve my gods, nor worship the golden statue I have set up? In a moment you will again hear the sound of the horns, flutes, lyres, zithers, harps, pipes, and all the other musical instruments. If you bow down and worship the statue I made, that will be good. But if you do not worship it, you will immediately be thrown into the blazing furnace. What God will be able to save you from my power then? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered the king, saying, Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves to you. If you throw us into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to save us from the furnace. He will save us from your power, O king. But even if God does not save us, we want you, O king, to know this. We will not serve your gods or worship the golden statue you have set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar was furious with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and he changed his mind. He ordered the furnace to be heated 7 times hotter than usual. Then he commanded some of the strongest soldiers in his army to tie up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and throw them into the blazing furnace. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were tied up and thrown into the blazing furnace while still wearing their robes, trousers, turbans, and other clothes. In verse 23 it says, firmly tied, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego fell into the blazing furnace. Then King Nebuchadnezzar was so surprised that he jumped to his feet. He asked the men who advised him, didn't we tie up only 3 men and throw them into the fire? And they answered, yes, O king. The king said, look, I see 4 men walking around in the fire, and they're not tied up. They're not burned. The 4th man looks like a son of the gods. Then Nebuchadnezzar went to the opening of the blazing furnace and shouted, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, come out. Servants of the Most High God, come here. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came out of the fire. And when they came out, the governors, assistant governors, captains of the soldiers, and royal advisors crowded around them and saw that the fire had not harmed their bodies. Their hair was not burned. Their robes were not burned. And they didn't even smell like smoke. Amen. This is my Bible, God's holy word. It is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. The grass withers, the flowers fade, but the word of our God shall stand forever. This is my Bible. This is my weapon, the sword of the Spirit. Amen. Their hair was not burned. Their robes were not burned. And they didn't even smell like smoke. When you don't look like what you've been through. When you don't look like what you've been through.